So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to talk about a story that has become all too familiar within the past decade. And we have possibly become insensitive to these type of acts. And that's why this situation is probably not national news. Now, I didn't know about this situation till a lady stopped me in the store in Goldsboro, North Carolina, and asked me, did I hear about the incident? And I told her no, and then she, went on to tell me what happened, and I researched the incident, and found a few articles on it. So that led me to read the articles, but also it led me to talk with the family, and by the family, I mean the relatives of the deceased who was killed by Clinton, North Carolina police, on October the 26th, early in the morning hours. Mr. Dashawn Kasey, who recently would have had a birthday. I think he was turning 27, if I'm not mistaken, on the 27th. But first and foremost, I want to say rest in peace to the young man, Dashawn Kasey, as well as offer my condolences to the family members as they grieve his death. And Mr. Kasey, who family lives in Goldsboro, he was shot and killed once again by Clinton police at what is been told to me at a female acquaintance residence. Now, according to the news reports and also family members, there was some sort of domestic disturbance which caused the police to be called to the residence. And that residence was, I think, let me get the address straight. It was on Dogwood Circle in Clinton, North Carolina. And I'm not familiar with Clinton, so if anybody is familiar with Clinton, it was in the Dogwood Circle area. And when the police arrived, the female acquaintance of Mr. Kasey, from my understanding, I think they were involved in a relationship, described being attacked in a domestic dispute by Mr. Kasey. And she was evidently outside of the home, and she informed the police officers that Mr. Kasey was still hiding in the home. And from the police reports in the article, the police reports allege that they searched the home looking for Mr. Kasey, and they found him hiding in a closet. And upon opening the closet, the police say that Mr. Kasey allegedly pointed a gun at them. And at that time is when they opened fire, killing Mr. Kasey. And speaking with the family, they have yet to get complete answers or information concerning the legality of these claims. And talking with one family member who called the police station to get information on the legitimacy of, the officer's account, she was told that the matter is under investigation by the FBI or the SBI, either one of them. I think it's the SBI. And in returning and doing further attempts to contact the SBI, she was just greeted with very ambiguous or vague information. I think the letter, she said that she received or the email she received only had one sentence, and that one sentence is, "This matter is under investigation by the SBI." Now, if the story is correct, my question is, why is the matter under the investigation of the SBI? But also, more importantly, why, if the officers were justified in the killing of Mr. Kasey, why are they not more open and informative to the family of the deceased if this was a justified shooting? Now, once again, for about the past decade, we can rattle off names: Mike Brown, Alton Sterling, just so many other people, Philando Castile, Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, and thousands of others within the past 10 years may have been in similar situations where authorities say that a gun was pointed or a suspect was armed and the officers feared for their life, and that individual was, as a result of that fear, unalived, as they say now. Now, within all of those stories, we have seen many of those stories to be proven false. Especially, I'm thinking about Walter Scott in South Carolina, where the police officer said Mr. Scott had his taser and a gun, and he shot Mr. Scott in the back. And later, video surfaced of the police officer planting the gun and the taser on Mr. Scott. That police officer did get convicted, and as well he should. But back to the Kasey case. Once again, speaking with family members, they informed me that the coroner, or the medical examiner, gave information that would contradict the officer's account. According to the family members, she said that her relative, Mr. Dashawn Kasey, was shot from the back, meaning that he was shot once with a bullet entering this side and exiting out, and I think one entering his lower extremity or even an arm. And then she also said one entered in the back of his neck or his temple area, right there, and entered out. And so, coming from the medical examiner or the coroner, that is a direct contradiction of him hiding in the closet and pointing a gun this way, and the officers opened fire. If you're shooting in front of me, there's no way that bullets can enter the back of me. And also, the relative and the family member mentioned that he was squished up, and I don't know if that's a word, but he was squished back in the closet, in between a heater. And so I know the movies would lead one to believe that when you get shot, sometimes the brute force blows you back. But I don't think that, police officers carry those high caliber type of weapons that will lift you off your feet and cause you to be squished back in between the closet wall and the heater. And so there are a lot of questions that remain to be answered in this. A few articles, and I'm going to read this article from ABC 11. It says, a man was shot and killed by a Clinton police officer overnight during a domestic abuse call. At 12:59 a.m., police responded to Dogwood Circle in reference to a domestic disturbance. When officers arrived, they spoke with a woman who said she was hit in the face and the head by a man with a gun. While searching the home, the officers found the suspect hiding in a closet who pointed the gun at officers. those officers returned fire, killing the suspect. And all officers involved have been placed on administrative leave. Now, what's telling about that article, which raises red flags to me, is saying that the officers returned fire, killing the suspect. Now, the only way you return fire if you have been fired upon. So why is it that the officer is saying that they returned fire if the man only pointed a gun? And once again, we've seen many instances that officers have used that same excuse to justify open fire and killing, sometimes a person that was in possession of a handgun, but oftentimes those people were not in possession of guns, and guns were never found. So because of the history and the track record of these shootings, one must be very vigilant in just taking the police officers' word. Now, another article I read was highlighting a couple of community activists in Clinton. And they, once again, want to know if the shooting was necessary. One community activist, Mr. DeAndres Butler, founder of the Resilient Advocates, want to know, as I do, or as many people, or even the family do, was the shooting necessary? He asked in a WRAL news articles if they had the body's cameras on, we would be able to see exactly what happened and be able to see if it was justified or not. So it's very, very important to me, and actually me too. Those things are happening, then there should be no hesitation from the police officers or the police department in releasing those body cam footage. Now, the Clinton Police Department has requested that the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigations to conduct an investigation into the details of the shooting, and the department's Internal Affairs Unit will also conduct an administrative investigation into the shooting. Now, the department's Internal Affairs, that is the individuals within the department who will review the information and deem if the killing was necessary or not. And the majority of the time, the Internal Affairs Division of that said department does not usually find findings that are contrary to what their officers state. So now the burden lies on the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation to investigate this killing to see if it was justified. So there we have it. This killing has not been publicized. Once again, we have I think became numb to this because this should be, once again, front page news. Excuse me. This should be something that, the community is rallying around, trying to make sure if the officer's account is true and exact. And, because of the track record of, the police, once again, this incident is questionable. Now, once again, and I always question, if someone points a gun at you, do you have to shoot to kill? And in this case, the officer saying they returned fire, but they never said that the Mr. Kasey fired upon them. So this is where we're at. You know, the family is still, you know, trying to get information from the proper authorities. It was from my understanding, once again, the officers have been placed on administrative leave, and when they normally mention that, it is what they call paid leave. So the officers are still getting paid. So my heart goes out to the Kasey family. I don't know the young gentleman, Dashawn Kasey, so I can't speak to his character. Being someone who has been in domestic situations before that were not truly related to officers, I have been a victim of, you know, an individual telling falsehoods that put me in legal situations as well. Not saying that this was the case here. I was not there. I don't know what exactly happened between Mr. Kasey and the woman. But once again, I have to go on my own experiences, and many of you probably can go on your own experiences when, you know, domestic situations occur. Sometimes things get over exaggerated, or, you know, men oftentimes get thrown under the bus because the only thing a woman has to say is, hey, he hit me, when that may not necessarily be the case. So nevertheless, the police were called, and once again, their story is Mr. Kasey pointed a firearm at them, causing them to quote unquote return fire. So we're going to keep an eye on this. This is in Clinton, North Carolina, Sampson County, about 45 minutes from Goldsboro, where, you know, I live. But we're going to be, you know, keeping up with this story. I'm going to do some investigating, some calling down to the police station, some talking to some of those activists in the area to see what they think needs to be done, or, you know, what they think, especially with the body cam footage. Many people are requesting that footage, and it is my understanding that the Clinton Police Department is kind of posturing in regards to releasing that footage. So if the body cam footage, I think one article I read said that, you know, well, yeah, they normally have them on, so we're going to see if they had them on. But nevertheless, you know, if they got body cameras, I don't know why they wouldn't have them on, unless the stories are not matching up. So once again, rest in peace to Dashawn Kasey. If I'm not mistaken, he would have been 27 on October the 27th, one day before his demise, and his unfortunately demise. And my heart goes out to he and his family, and you know, anybody else that knew him and loved him. So we're going to keep you up to date to this with this, and see what kind of information. But it kind of disturbs me that this is not front page news. This is not national news, once again, because I think we have been become immune and numb to the fact that, you know, police officers are and have known to be excessive in their force when approaching black suspects, especially black male suspects in these encounters. So peace and blessings. My number is 919-587-7782 if you have any information regarding this situation, or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or anything that I said wrong in this video. My line is always open. Peace and blessings. Y'all have a blessed night.